People need to learn to start standing up for themselves, and you need to learn how to stand up for yourself in court. My name is Waffles, and I'm a government whistleblower turned political commentator, and I'm just here to shed some light on this issue. From where I'm coming from, I started contacting the government back in 2023, and now we're here. And to be frank, what I have seen is that people are filing cases at our federal agencies. They're filing case upon case upon case upon case upon case upon case upon case, and those cases are just getting ignored because they're defunding our agencies. Okay, I saw this coming, and I tried to contact all kinds of people inside of the government. Nobody had the balls to do anything. Went all the way up to the CIA. Nothing got done. We're here now. And what I will say is this, I have for the last 3 years been trying to get a lawyer, and it's just not happening. Okay? My situation, I would need to face off with the federal government, and nobody wants to help me. I can't expect any help. But at the same time, from where I'm sitting, I don't think it's okay for other people to just take whatever they want from me and do whatever they want to me. And so I need to learn to defend myself. I ran into a hospital out here that's committing fraud. And then I also had a auto mechanic shop that is also committing fraud, break my car. And I reported fraud to the government. That's where this all started. Nothing was done about that case. That's an entirely different case. That was a company I was working for that was stealing money from people. I'm finding that a lot of call centers are doing this behavior called gatekeeping, where they're not even resolving customer complaints at a lot of places when you try to get things handled anymore. We're in a situation where the law is largely not being enforced, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, there's no point in trying, oh, blah, 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 I'm just gonna take it up the... Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Okay? And if you're low income, yes, you're gonna have a hard time finding a lawyer. And if you're a lawyer and you're listening to this, help these people make content, be online, educate the public. We need to find a way to create a more just society. And when the people who live here understand the laws of this land and how to protect themselves, I think things would go a lot smoother. Other than that, what I can tell you is in a situation like this, lawyers are scared, okay? I have been talking to lawyers this entire time. All kinds of lawyers. I've contacted so many lawyers. And I've heard a handful of them say that. So there's a lot of people right now, probably millions at this point, not getting help, that need legal assistance. And I'm a whistleblower. And so through this whole journey, because of the fact that I'm looking at our federal agencies, I'm looking for other whistleblowers, and I'm talking to other whistleblowers. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's a horrible situation to find yourself in. But if it wasn't for people like whistleblowers, things don't improve. Somebody needs to stand up for what's right. And the more people want to cower when wrong things are being done and harm is being done to many people by one person, the world doesn't get better. When we turn a blind eye and we just let these things happen, the world doesn't get better. And then if you want to complain that life is so hard, well, what are you doing to make the world better? And I'm going to tell you, you can start by standing up for yourself. So I put a video out probably last month or something, talking about, I'm just wondering why I'm running into so much fraud right now. I mean, part of it, I'm sure, is because our government seems to be getting dismantled. I don't think the laws are being enforced very well, but you can go to what is called civil court or district court, depending on how much your case is worth, to fix your problems. Now, is it okay for somebody to just break my vehicle because they want to make extra money off of me? Somebody I don't even know. I took my vehicle to their shop and try to get a fair repair. I shouldn't be coming out of repairs with a totaled vehicle. I paid $3,000 to have my vehicle fixed, not to have it totaled. And these guys have caused $8,000 worth of damage, and they offered, for their final offer, a mediation $6,000. I can't find a lawyer. I've been looking for... I'm done trying to look for a lawyer. Things are not as hard as they may seem all the time. You just need to have a little faith in yourself. One of the most important things that I've learned in my life from all the great people who have looked over me in my years of learning and growing on this earth is that learning is your superpower. It is the most important skill that you could have. And you can literally learn how to do anything. You just need to learn how to do it. That means you get a book and you start reading. So I want to encourage people to get out there and defend themselves. And if you're trying to file a legal case through our federal agencies, good luck, because I just don't think that's realistic right now with everything I've seen. I wrote a whole book about it. And now we're here. The situation's so much worse from where it was 3 years ago. But there's millions of litigants out there right now that are not getting help. And I think that because of the fact that the poor can't find legal assistance, that a lot of them choose to give up on situations and not defend themselves. And this other whistleblower that I'm talking to, he's very frustrated as well because of how difficult it's been for him to get a lawyer. He is going to federal court representing himself. That is called representing yourself pro se. And that's just the way it is, but he's also very frustrated. And, you know, I've been out here tingling with lawyers and stuff and trying to understand on a more personal level, trying to be respectful and understand where these people are coming from when they're telling me that they're scared. Why it is that I'm not getting the help that I need. You know, this is another person. They're not, first of all, they're not personally invested. When you hire a lawyer, you are asking somebody to take on the burden of your problems. Granted, you know, they take money. But if you're poor, you know, this is why the poor don't get the assistance they need. But that also fuels corruption when the law is not enforced. And people learn that they can do whatever they want to others because the law is not getting enforced because people can't afford a lawyer. And so then what I want to say is that you're not as powerless as you might believe, and you don't need to pay thousands of dollars for a lawyer. It can be helpful. But you shouldn't just let people do whatever they want to you, and the law matters. So I want to see more people out here standing up for themselves, because what I'm seeing is that people who are committing fraud have been targeting low-income areas. The town that I live in is full of poor people. I'm not financially well off. I'm not judging anybody. This is just the way it is in this town. And I've only lived here for 3 years. It's amazing how my life's been destroyed just by changing counties. There's more to it, though. I blame the federal government. But I'm just like, why is there so much fraud out here? Like, I don't trust no business out in this area now. This is really strange. And I'm finding out that people committing fraud are targeting the low income. And it's because the low income can't afford lawyers. So then, if you're low income, you need to learn how to defend yourself. And it's not as hard as you might think. You're going to hear big words and you just need to learn what they mean. So I made a video earlier. I showed the law. This is a big 600-page Title 6. That's just a title. Find the law. Find the law. Figure out what laws the person is breaking, and then you go to the courts, you go to mediation, and you say, this is the law you're breaking, and this is why, and this is how. And the moment anybody gets shady with you, if you're physically at the location, go outside in case they have the room bugged to have your conversation. Make sure that you're reading reviews for any businesses you're getting services from. I never thought in my entire life that I would catch an animal hospital committing fraud. And I think that's really disgusting because animals are losing their lives and they don't seem to care. It's a chain that's based out of Texas, and they're naming all of their shops something different so that they're less likely to get caught. But the problem is the SEC is just throwing away cases. I have written a book. I have provided my receipts on that. So you need to learn what this vocabulary means. You file with the court, and then you have to respond. They're going to send you letters. You need to keep an eye on the mailbox. And then if you need something to change, if you need to do something, or you're going to be late in doing certain paperwork, you file what's called a motion. A motion is you asking the court to do something. That's the name of the type of document. The courts have different ways of handling things, and it's through paperwork. So a motion is how you request that the court does something. You motion for it to do something. It's a piece of paper that you fill out. You need to find the right number. You need to find to make sure it's current, and that's the right document for the court that you're in. And that's how you get the courts to do stuff. Other than that, you need to find the law that they broke and explain how it is that they broke it, and go to court and point at that and be like, that's the law you broke. Now, there's different things like strategy and stuff that lawyers know, and people do lie in the courts. And I'm not encouraging anybody to do that, but if you're facing off with a bad guy, they may try to do some sneaky shit. But I want people to understand that justice matters. This is how we wound up in this situation, is the law not being enforced. And part of that is because of people not standing up for themselves. And I think that Americans have gotten themselves into a situation of learned helplessness that has created the situation getting so bad. And it doesn't help that people feel like they're locked out of the legal system. You know, faith in the judiciary is at an all-time low. Americans don't trust our legal system anymore. And it's because it's being dismantled. And it is our responsibility to stand up for ourselves. And stand up for what's right. And stand up for the rule of law. And when it comes to things like people unaliving others, murdering others, or stealing from others, there are laws against that. But unfortunately, we're in a situation where apparently it looks like there is a class of people that believes that they can just take advantage of people who are broke. And so if that's the case, then I'm not surprised that they're trying to make people broke. Because if they think that they can just take whatever they want from this group of people, being the low income, because they're not going to defend themselves, then yeah, they're going to keep doing it. That's my personal opinion. I'm expressing my thoughts and my opinions based on my observations using my First Amendment right to freedom of speech and freedom of the press. I'm an American, and it's my constitutional right, and the Constitution comes first to me because the Constitution is the law of the land of the United States of America, and I'm going to live by that. So, you know, it's just something I want people to think about is, you know, when you try to hire a lawyer, think about what you're asking them to do. I'm in a dangerous situation. I've been chased around by some very scary people in the middle of all this, believe me. I'm in the crazy shit. I'm a whistleblower. So that's going to be different than what a lot of people are facing. But you don't just let somebody like what I just dealt with my auto shop case, you don't just let somebody take from you and then walk away with nothing and accept that. You need to stand up for yourself. This is a huge problem that we have, that the law is not being enforced and you can just take advantage of this large segment of the population. As you notice, the wealth gap is getting wider and wider and people can't afford things. So if you need to have money for the law to be enforced, we're looking at it wrong. That's the problem. People need to become competent of our legal system, and it's not that hard. There's a big words are a little alien. So I would suggest, you know, anybody who's understanding what I'm saying right now, especially if you're having difficulty getting a lawyer right now, your chances may be a little bit less, but it doesn't mean you can't win. There have been a lot of people who have represented themselves going through the court system. Don't trust everything AI says. It can be a helpful tool, but I am out here talking to people in the legal sphere, and they've got a lot of people that are hiring them as lawyers that apparently seem to be a problem because the AI tells them something that's not necessarily true, and they get in an argument. But it has also been helpful for me, so you know you're as capable as you want to be. And it's not as hard as it may seem. And I want to put it out there. And so I also want to encourage others, you know, if you work for a law firm or if you're a lawyer or something, you know, get out here and start educating the public. If you don't want to take these cases and you see a flood of cases going on, let us know about it, first of all. Let us know what you guys are seeing in the legal world. so we can do something about it. Other than that, if you guys are too scared to take this problem on, I'm sure that there's a lot of people like me with personal problems that don't like having their life destroyed, that, you know, if they were equipped with knowledge, would stand up for themselves. Let's get interested in the system of law, guys. Get out here and start teaching these people. We have millions of claimants out here right now. Like millions of litigants, millions of people who are being denied their rights that need access to the courts. Let's make this comprehensive and let's make it something understandable. There are people out here that are doing content creation surrounding law, and I have found it incredibly helpful. I've been watching Legal AF a lot, and it's helping me with my vocabulary so I can understand what's going on with my own cases and also what's going on with the federal situation, since I'm a whistleblower and I'm in the middle of this. But these people, there's a lot of them that I'm like, got them in my feeds. So it is helpful. But this is part of our responsibility as the American people, is we need to stand up and stand beside the rule of law, and we need to see to it that the laws are enforced and that our laws are meaningful. And that means public education. Let's start there. Other than that, as you can clearly see, I look tired as fuck right now. I am burning myself the hell out. So I'm just trying to address things as I see them, and I have these fleeting thoughts and things that I think are very important that need to be said that I forget about sometimes. And so this is one of those things I just randomly remember, because, the last whistleblower I was talking to, his lawyer got shot and died trying to fight his case. So when I tell you guys, that lawyers are scared right now, and they're not wanting to handle some of these cases. It's not good that we have a president that is attacking our system of law and attacking our judiciary, but for me personally, I'm not going to back down. I'm going to stand up for myself, and I'm not okay with what's been done to me, and I think that the people who are doing the bad things need to be the ones being held accountable, and not me facing losses and suffering. My credit's been destroyed. My whole life's been destroyed because of other people, and I think that those people are the ones that need to be held accountable. But I will tell you that from what I've seen, it does not appear that filing with our federal agencies is going to be very helpful. It is going to tie up your time and make it so that things in your case expire. So you're much better off going straight to your civil or district courts. You can sue the government through the civil and district courts if that's what you need to do, or if it's a company. But it's not that hard, guys. So, I've got this one whistleblower that his lawyer got shot and then he went crazy and got himself locked up because he gave up. And another whistleblower that's out here yelling about the legal profession. And he's mad at some of the lawyers, and I feel that way sometimes too, but at the same time, a handful of these people are my friends, and I care about them, and they're telling me that they're scared. They don't want to get involved. And so then I have to look at the fact that, if I take on a case, like, if I have no right and no place to be angry, if my situation could be that dangerous for somebody else to demand that of a stranger. And so then I would say that the anger is understandable. But the humanity of the people in the legal profession is also understandable. But I do think that it's important that we get out here and we need to be encouraging people to understand the law, understand their rights, and you know what? That might help engage them in politics too, which is something that we also need. People need to stop feeling powerless, because that is what is causing our problems. People need to get out and vote. They want to whine about how voting doesn't do anything, but all you gotta do is scribble in with a black pen on a piece of paper on a little dot. And we have violence breaking out in the streets because 1/3 of the population chose not to vote. All they needed to do was put ink on a piece of paper. So let's get out here. Let's get people educated. No, I think it does matter, like, that the law be enforced on issues, especially in pertains to people getting murdered and people stealing shit from others. I think that matters a lot, actually, especially right now since I'm seeing a shit ton of fraud. I would really like to see people standing up for the rule of law. It's standing up for their rights. It's say my rights matter and this shit's not okay. Like, I'm not gonna tolerate it. Don't tolerate it. I do think it's really important that we not just let people do whatever they want. Look at what it's leading to. Everybody's broke as hell. Life's a living freaking nightmare. It just never stops. And it's just, people need to become competent in our legal system. There's my great speech about why you should be learning the law and how to navigate the legal system and why people should be teaching the law to the general public. And thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
So the Olympics is great. And Johnny, for the others, you know, the World Cup, Johnny is the head of it. We had our top people, Wasserman. They all came in on the Olympics, and then I saw Johnny. And we got the World Cup too. And you know, it's only because they rigged the election that I'll be your president representing you there. You know, I got both of them. I got the Olympics and I got the World Cup. And I said, you know, it's too bad. One was in 2026 and the other was in 2028. And I said, I won't be there. I won't be your president. But then they rigged the election and now we won. So I'm going to be your president for the Olympics and for the World Cup. So, Johnny, thank you for the World Cup. And everybody, thank you for the Olympics. We're going to have a great time.
Hey, guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment on my videos. And also, don't forget to check out my shop where you could get this awesome Real Patriots Punch Nazis t-shirt. America, fuck yeah! And if you go to the link tree in my bio on most platforms, it's got links to everything, all of my stuff. You can find my shop there. I'm on eBay. You can also get this cool Exterminate MAGA sticker, cause MAGA's fucking cockroaches. And fuck MAGA, abolish MAGA, fuck you MAGA.
It's like a house of cards. Deals behind closed doors, secrets left unguarded. Greed and power rule the day, it's a circus show. Truth gets buried deep down where light won't glow. Promises are broken like cheap toy strings. Backroom conversations pulling all the strings. Eyes wide open but the blinds still lead. The fabric's tearing while their pockets feed. House of cards tumbling down. Truth's a whisper in a deafening town. Shadows rule in daylight's face. House of cards, it's a grand disgrace. They shout and yell about patriot pride, but loyalty's for sale, just check the guide. Questions, unanswered directions, the play. Smoke and mirrors every single day.